Okie dokie. The monster was created by Victor Frankenstein using a combination of stolen body parts and unconventional scientific methods. The exact details of the creation process are vague. The monster was described as having yellowish skin, watery eyes, black lips, and a gigantic stature, standing about 8 feet tall. His grotesque appearance is a major source of fear and rejection by those who see him. I mean, who wouldn't be fearing for their life as a jaundiced 8-foot-tall man with watery eyes and black lips randomly shows up in the town that you're in looking for companionship? So today we're talking about the wild, eerie, and gripping story of Frankenstein. We're going to talk about Victor Frankenstein, the scientist who wanted to know if he could create life. We'll see his creation come to life, which leads to chaos, revenge, and heartbreak. So let's get into this. It's not a tale, it's an adventure through one of literature's most haunting and unforgettable stories. Victor was a bright, ambitious young man from a wealthy family in Geneva, and from an early age, he displayed an insatiable curiosity for the sciences. His passion for uncovering the secrets of life and death propelled him to study the realms of natural philosophy and chemistry. Now, Victor is really dedicated to science. He soaks up the knowledge like a sponge and he dreams big. Victor's father, Alphonse, and his mother, Caroline, are loving parents who encourage his education. They also take in Elizabeth Lavenza, who's an orphan girl, and they adopt as their own daughter. Victor and Elizabeth grow close, and their bond blossoms into a deep romantic affection. Victor's family is a picture of happiness and stability, but his scientific ambitions will lead him down a darker path. Victor heads to the University of Ingolstadt, where his life takes a fateful turn. His fascination with alchemy and ancient scientists shifts to modern natural philosophy under the guidance of Professors Waldman and Krempe. Victor becomes particularly obsessed with the idea of creating life from inanimate matter. He immerses himself in the study of anatomy, chemistry, and the secrets of human decay. But Victor's obsession reaches a fevered pitch. He isolates himself from his friends and family, toiling away in his makeshift laboratory. He's so engrossed in his experiment that he starts neglecting basic hygiene and sleep. He's determined to uncover the spark of life, the key to reanimating the dead, and little does he know, his relentless pursuit will unleash a nightmare. After years of painstaking research and gruesome experimentation, Victor succeeds. He assembles a humanoid figure from body parts scavenged from graveyards and morgues, which is no small feat. The creature stands 8 feet tall. He's a grotesque patchwork of human remains, and on a stormy night, Victor brings his creation to life using the power of electricity. Victor's triumph is short-lived. The creature opens its yellow, watery eyes, takes its first breath, and Victor is overcome with horror and regret. This isn't the beautiful, godlike being he envisioned. It's a monstrous, hideous abomination. Victor, in a fit of panic, flees from his laboratory, leaving his newborn creation to fend for itself. So abandoned and alone, the monster stumbles into the world with no knowledge or guidance. His early days are a series of painful discoveries. People scream, faint, or attack him on sight. Again, an 8-foot-tall yellow man. He quickly learns that his appearance inspires fear and revulsion. The monster's encounters with humanity are nothing short of tragic. Seeking refuge, the monster hides in the forest and survives on foraged food. He finds a hovel attached to a poor family's cottage and observes them through a crack in the wall. The family consists of DeLacy, a blind old man, his son Felix, daughter Agatha, and a Turkish woman named Safi. The monster, fascinated by their interactions, secretly helps them by gathering firewood and performing other chores. And through his observations, the monster learns to speak and read. He discovers literature. Milton's Paradise Lost, Plutarch's Lives, and Getty's The Sorrows of Young Werther, not the candy. These books shape his understanding of the world and his own existence. He begins to grasp the profound loneliness of his condition, and the monster yearns for companionship and acceptance. So, driven by the desire for human connection, the monster decides to reveal himself to the DeLacy family. He waits for a moment when the blind old man is alone and enters the cottage. DeLacy, who is unable to see the monster's hideous appearance, welcomes him kindly. But when the rest of the family returns and sees the monster, they react with horror and violence, driving him away. Heartbroken and enraged, the monster vows revenge against his creator, Victor, for bringing him into a world that shuns him. So he sets out on a journey to find Victor and confront him. Along the way, he saves a little girl from drowning, but her companion shoots him, mistaking him for an attacker. This further solidifies the monster's belief that he will never be accepted by humanity. The monster finally tracks Victor down to the Swiss Alps, where he confronts him on a glacier. The monster tells Victor his tragic tale, pleading for understanding and compassion. He demands that Victor create a female companion for him, promising to leave humanity if his request isn't granted, and Victor, moved by the monster's anguish and guilt, reluctantly agrees. Victor returns to Geneva, where he's greeted by his family and Elizabeth, who is overjoyed at his return. But Victor remains haunted by his promise to the monster. He travels to England with his friend Henry Clerval to gather the necessary materials and knowledge for the creation of the female creature. Henry and Victor then journey to the remote Orkney Islands, where Victor sets up a new lab. As Victor begins the process of creating a female companion for the monster, he's plagued by doubts and fears. He envisions a future where the two creatures could wreak havoc on humanity. The thought of unleashing another potential monster fills him with dread. In a moment of panic, Victor destroys his work, tearing apart the female creature before she can be brought to life. The monster, who's been watching Victor's progress, is furious at this betrayal. He vows to exact revenge on Victor's wedding night. Victor, stricken with guilt and fear, returns to the mainland. Along the way, he discovers that the monster has murdered Henry Clerval, adding to his anguish. Victor is arrested for the crime, but is eventually released due to lack of evidence. Victor returns to Geneva, where he marries Elizabeth despite the looming threat from the monster. So on their wedding night, the monster makes good on his promise and kills Elizabeth, leaving Victor devastated. Victor's father, Alphonse, dies of grief shortly after. Consumed by a desire for vengeance, Victor dedicates himself to hunting down the monster. The chase takes Victor across Europe and into the Arctic, where he encounters Captain Robert Walton, who is on an expedition to the North Pole. Victor, exhausted and near death, tells Walton his tragic story, and he implores Walton to continue his quest to destroy the monster if he fails. Shortly after, Victor dies of exhaustion. The monster, grief-stricken and remorseful, appears at Victor's deathbed. He confesses his sorrow and regret for his actions, explaining that he only sought companionship and acceptance. The monster declares his intention to end his own life and disappears into the Arctic wasteland. Victor Frankenstein's tale is a cautionary one, a blend of tragedy, horror, and dark humor. His ambition and hubris led to the creation of a being that brings nothing but misery and destruction. The monster, despite his terrifying appearance, is a deeply sympathetic character, shaped by rejection and loneliness. The story explores themes of creation, responsibility, and the human need for connection. It's actually a retelling of the story of Prometheus. How can I say that? Well, Prometheus' creation, or his obsession with his creation, ultimately causes his continuing torture, and Victor's creation of the monster causes undeniable grief and anger, which torture Victor until his death. It's an amazing story, and in the end, both the creator and the creation are doomed by their actions. We never find out what happens to the creature. The illustrated version of Bernie Wrightson's Frankenstein is utterly amazing. It was published in 1983 by Marvel Comics with full-page illustrations by Bernie Wrightson. It's not your typical comic art. Okay. All right, that's all I got for today. Thanks for listening. If you like it, hit that subscribe button for us. If you don't like it, that's okay too. Other than that, have a great day.